Hi everyone, this is going to be a demo for inFlow inventory. My name's Kevin and I'm going to take you through this exciting product along with some of the newest features that we have and some great takes. This is a new feature we just released. It's our web dashboard, so it gives you high-level information for a location that you want to choose, such as the Western warehouse or the Eastern warehouse in our sample database. It'll show you things like products to reorder, your total sales revenue, and you can adjust in some of these widgets the time span. And hey, if something's not big enough for you or you're not seeing enough, like, hey, I want to see my top 5 or 10 products, you can always expand that out. Or if something doesn't make sense to your role, you can always remove it, or if an employee is restricted, they won't see it. We're going to start here in our product list. This great view allows us to have a picture of the product, a name, and a SKU. It also gives us the ability to look at it by location, so Eastern warehouse or our, say, Toronto branch, and then I can come back and look at a specific location. We track different products. Our main product type is going to be stock. That's anything with a quantity, but we do allow you to track other things like service items or serial numbers or lot numbers, which is also a new feature we'll get into later. We can also categorize your products. That can be used as a filter here or in reports. So for example, I can say, hey, here's all of my field service products. And if I drill down, here's my electrical items. We also have custom fields here, like color and country of origin, which you can control. Don't feel restricted by what I have here. But a great feature of all of our lists in inFlow is I can click this wrench icon and customize these headers, whether it's dragging and dropping or it's removing them because they're not important to my view. And in reports as well, we can just come in and say, I want to see all of my products made in Canada. I can select that and that will filter my list here or in reports that we use. I just want to draw your attention to this 4 next to this SPF number 2 board. This is how we know we have a product group. We'll show you the total amount of products that you have within that group. And if I click into it, I can get some more information about the different variants associated with it. In this case, by dimension and the individual quantity on hand, and if there's a different sales price for each. I can also toggle between quantity on hand and available. If we look at a product, we can click into it. We have a unique name, we have a SKU, and we have a description for your barcode, for your product. We assign it a category, and while I know this looks like a lot of information, all you really need is a unique name, a category, as well as a product type. We also have the ability to have barcodes, which we can generate for you, or you can have multiple barcodes for the same product, just in case you want to change that up and have multiple barcodes represent that item. We have length, width, height, and weight. We have units of measure as well. And again, completely customizable, but in this situation, I purchased this product by the case, and a case gives me 4 bottles. So inFlow knows if I buy 10 cases, increase my inventory by 40. We also have these custom fields, which can be drop downs. They can be dates, which I can fill out, or they can be a checkbox. We also allow you to print labels at any time or add attachments up here. Down here, we have customs info. So this is a product with a country of origin of Canada, and I can type in my HS code for any type of importation or other documents that might be needed by border services. We'll show you the quantity you have on hand, what you have available, and I can see that for each location. And if I hover over this great bar here, I can see I have 18 on hand, but 3 are reserved for, and let's check this out, 3 are reserved because they're expiring. If I click into this, we can see that, oh, this product is expiring and I have 3 bottles. Here's where it's located in this sub-location. So I will need to update and do a stock adjustment, which we'll show later in this video. When you set up a product, you do have the ability to have multiple reorder points. So in this case, I have a purchase order and stock transfer for inFlow inventory. So I can decide to make a purchase order or a stock transfer from a different location. In this situation, when I fall below 40 bottles, I want to reorder 80. And I can click that there. This will notify me daily or weekly of the products we're running low on. If I look over here at this tile, I can see the pricing and cost that we have set up in the system. I'll assign a pricing scheme to a customer, and every time I make a sales order, it'll make sure that we assign them the right price, and our price can be a fixed sale price like I have here for our manufacturer suggested retail price, or it can be a fixed markup to make sure I'm still making my margins. In this situation, we have a sale price of 91 and a tier 1 customer has a markup of 160, where a tier 2 has 150, tier 3 has 140. And if we click into this product here, this 3/4 inch valve, I can see all this great information that we're able to capture, but don't worry, all we need to create a product is a unique product name, a category, and a product type, in this case stock because we're tracking quantity. One great feature that inFlow has is we have the ability to have multiple barcodes for a product. So if you purchase them from different vendors or they're different brands and you don't care about tracking the barcode, you can have those there. We allow you to have length, width, height, and weight, as well as units of measure. So in this situation, I purchase a box, and a box will give me 5 units. So inFlow knows if I buy 10 boxes, increase my inventory by 50. We can also have these custom fields. You can call them whatever you like by clicking this Manage button here, but otherwise they can be a drop-down, or they can be a date field or a checkbox. We also have the ability to set up customs info if you need to do that, and you can type in your HS code for any documentation you might need. We'll show you the quantity on hand and the quantity you have available. And if I hover over this bar, I can see I have 9 available and I have 1 on reserve. If I click this view breakdown, I can see what they're reserved for across all my locations. Or if I click into a specific location, I can see the sub-location it's allocated to, and I can see the specific breakdown here for that location. So in this case, 1's reserved for sales orders, which means I have 9 available to sell or consume. And I can control reorder points here by saying, hey, when I fall below 50 units, I want to reorder 100 from my vendor. We also give you the options for stock transfers. If we look at this page, we have the ability to have multiple pricing schemes, which you can assign to a customer, and cost. The pricing schemes can be a fixed price. For example, our MSRP on this product is $15, or they can be a fixed markup. Like this one, a tier 1 customer pays 100%, tier 2 pays 75% markup, tier 3 pays 50% markup, and that way I'm making sure I'm maintaining my margin. And we'll track your cost by default on a moving average, or through first in, first out, last in, first out, or manual costing based on the purchase orders and manufacturing orders you create in the system. If I click here, we have product vendors. I can see who I buy it from, and if I purchase from multiple vendors, I can add that in along with their specific information. And I can see our order and movement history here as well. And if I come in and we want to look up a slightly different product, for example, with batch and lot numbers, I can click into this whey protein powder. And if I come down here, I can see my lot numbers, the sell by date, or the expiry date, which shows up here. And in this situation, I have 15 bottles that are good to go, and I have 3 bottles that have expired and I'll have to adjust later. I can also come into the movement history and track that lot number here. So if I type in WH412, it will show me everything to do with that lot. In this situation, received on a purchase order, went out on a sales order, and an adjustment for 9 were made. Serial numbers work similarly. Both are scannable, but in this situation, if I look at this laptop, I can click into movement history and I can look up a full or partial serial number, for example, this one, and I can see the status related to that product. So it was on this purchase order. I had 4 come in on this date and time. I can see it went out and it came back in. This can be great for warranty tracking or service tracking with your clients. Of course, you can print labels with serial numbers as well. And at any point in time, I can click our reorder button here, and this is going to open up our list. So I can see all my locations, and if I click on my Eastern warehouse, I can see all the vendors I need to order products from. If I click here, I can generate 3 POs with 1 click of a button to my vendors, which I have to approve, modify, and edit before I send them out. Or I can say I do not want to order this product or this product and take them off my list. And if I do that, when I click reorder, you can see the 3 POs that have been generated. And with our integrations to accounting platforms, those POs will be pushed into those platforms as well. So let's have a look at this first PO here, PO 00027. If I open that up, it will take me to a purchase order to that vendor. It will show me it's unfulfilled. I can choose a delivery date. So I can come into here and say, hey, we're gonna order that product. Here's when we're gonna receive it. I can fill out if it needs to be shipped. I can assign it to someone on the team. And again, we have these custom fields and you can call them whatever you like. If you're ordering something specific, you could tag it with like a project, maybe who requested it, whether it's been inspected, and that can all be part of your process. If I look down here, I see all of the products. I can see what our price is, our subtotal, and if it's something that has shipping on it, I have the ability to have a freight field here, which will of course impact my costs of goods and my landed cost when I receive it. Down here, I can click paid and input any payments I made. Maybe I made a $1,000 deposit for 10% to make sure that I secure this order with my vendor. And cost details also give you the option for non-vendor costs. These are your freights and anything that you're not paying directly to your vendor but contribute to the cost of your product. If I want to add an item, I can do that as well. So let's say I purchased this product. This is our whey protein, so it has a lot number associated with it. And I'll add a laptop here as well, just so we can show you what serial number receiving looks like. If I've never ordered that product before, I can fill out this field, click this arrow, and it will update the product record for me automatically. So that way I don't have to go back to the individual one and do that. You might have noticed as I did that, this add discount button showed up. So on this order, I can add a discount if my vendor is providing me a discount, potentially based on volume. I can add that into this field here. We can also see how much is available on hand and what I'm ordering. If I want to, I can hit save and I can email this out directly to the vendor. And here's an example of what a purchase order might look like. And that will show up there. If I want to receive this good, I can click here and I can indicate by scanning or clicking whether or not I received that product, whether I partially received that product, I only received 10 cases, or in the case of a lot number or a serial number, I can assign a lot number here. Hey, I received lot number 1003, and it'll ask me for other information, and this is where I would input the expiry date, perhaps we have a sell-by date, and all this will be tracked in the system to this specific product so that we have a record for tracking and traceability. And this is also where I would scan to receive serial numbers if that is something I needed to do. I click set serial numbers and update that order appropriately. I can hit save, and the nice thing about this order is we'll tell you what you've received, anything that's partially received or you're missing, for you to follow up with your vendor. We also have this purchase order list, and I can see all my open orders or all of them. And one great thing about receiving a purchase order is I can choose the location that we're going to receive that to up here. And when I'm receiving those items, I can indicate what sub-location I'm going to put it away to. We're going to assume the default that you've chosen, but we also give you the option to change that. Perhaps I want to receive this here, and that way we'll update the system. And I just want you to note this receive date, so we'll tell you when you did actually receive that product. Another great feature is you can always switch the units you're receiving in. So if I don't want to receive it by the case or the individual units, I can say, hey, I want to make sure I receive 80. And that just depends on your individual receiving and the vendors you're dealing with. Yeah. We can update that and we come back to our list. Again, with these filters, so if I want to look at other information, I can add those column headers here. And one great feature that they don't want me to tell you about, but does happen, is we have these check boxes. And it just makes things more efficient. Maybe I'm waiting on these POs from all these vendors. I can select up to 20 and I can email those out, and hopefully sending all these POs out will get me an answer from my vendor about where my stuff is. And I would send that out and everyone will get the appropriate email. Yes, and after this, we're going to move on to look at our vendors. If I just click here, we can see the vendors that we have, their information, balance, their shipping or their addresses, payment terms, any discounts, currencies, tax rates, along with the products I purchased from them, order history, and my payment history here. So we track all of those records. It looks like I should talk to accounts payable about this overdue balance. If I want to as well, we can have that same view for customers. If I click into this list, I can see all of my customers. If I click into this customer in particular, I can see a unique name, their email, any balances we have with them, credits. I can also see their billing and shipping addresses, which may be different. And we do support having multiple shipping addresses in case your customer does as well. We have order history, and we also have payment history. One of my favorite features about inFlow is from my customer list, I can click here and I can send out up to 20 customer statements at a time to my customers just to make sure they're aware of where their credit is with us or what they might owe us. It's a super simple way to get that done and make sure that you're collecting on payments that are owed to improve your cash flow. One super great feature is if I add a custom field here to this purchase order, let's say we call this business type to this vendor, and I'll just make this a text field and I'll say this is a retail customer. If I have the matching custom field on a sales order, so we're just going to come to a sales order and I'll add that custom field here, business type. If we have those matching custom fields, this is a fun little hack. If I make a new sales order or quote to the customer, that field will be pre-populated for me. So this is a great way if you have repetitive information to be entered to include that, because those custom fields can be used to be filtered in a report, whether it's sales in this case by retail versus industrial sales. It gives you all types of great information. This is a great time to jump into our sales orders. And just one thing to note, you can make a sales quote if you want to. And if you do that, none of the items there are going to be reserved, but it gives you the ability to set that up. So for example, we're going to make a sales quote to Anom Inc. They would like the product shipped by April 30th. So that's lots of time. You'll notice here that they're a level 1 customer. Currently, they don't have taxes, but we do support multiple tax rates in inFlow. They have net 15 terms. If they give me a PO later, we can do that, but I can add whatever products we want to this as well. So let's start by saying we're going to add this protein powder. We're going to look up a pan. This can also be done on the mobile app or our smart scanner in case you have agents in the field. And it's just a really great way to efficiently look up and add products. Uh-oh, it looks like we have a red exclamation mark here. Don't panic. What this means is we don't have enough product of this on hand to fulfill the demand. And if I click here, I can see that I have none available and none on hand to order. If you click on this button, it will take you to the reorder screen and you're able to reorder those products, and we'll highlight what you need to reorder to meet the demand for this product. And we'll go through the purchase order generation cycle again. In this case, for the purposes of this video, we're just going to remove them. Your other option is if I click here, I can always split the order by what we don't have on hand. Now that those are off here, I can indicate how many I want to sell. And in this case, I have 19. If I tried to sell 20, I just get this warning with a yellow exclamation mark that I don't have enough to meet all of my demand rather than none at all. So we're just going to sell this person 5. That's all they want. For these woks, we're going to sell them 9. And here we're going to sell this person 10 of these pans. Now, one great thing is if I want to add an inline discount, I can do that. Maybe I like this customer, so I'll give them a $5 discount per unit, or here I can give them a percentage discount if I want to. If we turn on shipping for this particular order, that allows us to input freight. So if I come down here, I can input if there's any freight costs associated with that order, if I want the vendor to pay that, or the customer, I should say. If there's freight costs that I'm going to be absorbing as part of my order but will affect my profitability, I click cost details, and I would input that into non-customer costs. In this case, $40. And you can see that I have my estimated profit margin here, along with my estimated cost of goods and profits. So that way I can be sure that I'm making money on this sale. I'll hit save to update this, and I can email this quote out directly to the customer. When I'm ready to go ahead with this quote, I click Convert to Order, and this is going to update this to a sales order for my team to pick. One thing I do want to highlight that I think is a great feature is inFlow allows you to prioritize orders. And if I look at my open sales order list, I can see orders that I've prioritized. And if I sort it by that, I can drag and drop those orders in an order that I find important to prioritize. And we also have this great column that's stock availability. So I can see whether I can fulfill that order or not, or if I'm missing products and I need to follow up and order those items. I'm going to click back into that order. I'll see my list of products. And if I want to, I'll click Pick, and it will give me the ability to show all of my products that I need to pick. You might notice as well that for this product with a lot number, it's telling us to pick 4 bottles from this lot. We only have 4, and this is the one that's going to be expiring first, and then to pick 1 remaining bottle from this lot, which expires a little bit later. My team will go through and scan barcodes, or they will pick here and indicate that they've picked everything, fulfill it, and then they'll go through the shipping process and marking items as shipped. I can come in as well and indicate here that there's 1 box, or if I want to ship products in multiple boxes, that's something I can do as well. We do have an integration with EasyPost for printing shipping labels, and that's something that's covered in other videos we have on the channel. If I click into here, I can also indicate whether it's been paid or issue credits against this order. Let's just say the customer paid us in full and everything is good. I want to put in a reference number to that transaction. I can do that. And that type of information will push into our accounting integrations as well with QuickBooks Online and Xero. We're going to now switch over to our integrations. To access integrations, you come down to this cogwheel, and I'll click on the Integrations tab up here. And you can see here that we have some core integrations. These are integrations that we've developed. So our Amazon integration for Amazon sellers with FBA or FBM, our integration with QuickBooks Online, our integration with Shopify for e-commerce, pushing orders, pushing inventory, receiving orders, and updating fulfillment statuses, Squarespace for e-commerce, WooCommerce for e-commerce, again, pushing inventory, pulling orders, and updating order statuses. And the nice thing about WooCommerce and Shopify is you can initialize products from those platforms in your system, and then Xero for accounting, along with Zapier for some automated programming. We also integrate with Extensive for connecting to these other third-party integrations, and EDI. One great feature we have that a lot of our customers use is Showroom, which is a private order portal. If I click on this little kiosk here, or booth, it will tell me to turn on Showroom, so I'll activate that. And this is the link I'll share with our customers. We do have some upgrades to customize that domain. It can be public or it can be hidden. It just depends on the business that you're doing. I can set up general settings, which are here. So that could be colors, logos, a text banner, and all the products I want to showcase. But if there's items I don't want to show, so for example, I don't want to show items in the janitorial section, I can remove that. And maybe I don't want to show specifically, if I click into labor, I don't want to show warehouse labor. I can remove that from the order or from the preview for them. If I come down here, I have sale price. And then when I invite a customer, we're going to respect whatever their pricing scheme is and taxing schemes that you've assigned to them. But I can override this, and maybe I don't want ANOM to see chairs, so I can remove that from the inventory. But the nice thing is I can send them an invite, they'll get it, and then once they set that up, they'll be able to preview our showroom. They can come in, look through products, you can control what they see, and if they click into an item, they can add that into their cart and check out. This is a great way to allow your customers who are on terms to make purchases without having to use a credit card or payments, which your team can review, modify, and edit and approve. You can look into our other settings. Under global, we can set up custom fields. One thing I often get asked is, well, I don't want to start my transaction numbers at 1 again. where can we start? If I click here, I can come in and say, hey, I want to start my sales orders at maybe sales order 1009, and maybe my purchase orders are only at 123. Other great places where we can do that is renaming fields. A common thing we see with medical clinics who are tracking our inventory is they'll rename the customer field to say patient, for example. So they could just say, hey, I want this to say patient, and update that, and that will rename that specific field. We also have the options for dimensions and weights in case you work in imperial instead of metric. And one of my favorite customizations, or two of them I should say, is labels. We have a full drag and drop label editor. So I can come in here, update this label. For instance, maybe I want to add an image from the product record. I can put that onto the label and have that there, and I can have that display, or QR codes show up here as well. And then I can print them from one of our label printers, which we have here, or one of the other label printers we integrate with. We also have the ability to modify our documents. So if I click into documents, I can select the document I would like to order, maybe my sales orders. And I want to come in and maybe I want to add a custom field here. So I would like my sales order to have the description as a total field, or I can modify it up here and say, hey, I want you to show description on this. I would also like to include the country of origin on this order. And again, we can drag and drop and move those around here. We can also add line stripes, which is something I like, and line counts, which are highly in demand. We also give you the option to customize your emails as well. So just select your email and you can modify what you say. For instance, please allow 2 weeks for order to be fulfilled. And I can hit save and close. One great thing with inFlow is we have the ability to move inventory. So I can do a stock transfer. So let's say I want to relocate something from my eastern warehouse to western warehouse. I can do that. I'm going to send it from here. I'll add a product, and I can do this from our mobile app on our smart scanner, or from a mobile app on an Android or iOS device. Let's say I'm going to move this product and this item, and I'm also going to move some of those valves we talked about earlier. Whoops. It would help if I could spell today. I'm going to send 100 feet of this. I'm going to send one of these. And because this is a serialized product, I need to set the serial number. We're going to send that one. And I'm going to send 5 of these. And this will tell me where I'm pulling this product from and where to put it away to on the other end. I'll send the transfer. This is now in transit. And when they get it, I could assign it to someone at the other site and say, hey, Thomas, I want you to receive this. And when they get it later on, they can mark this as received. And this will update and move my inventory from one location to the other. We can see my stock transfer list. We also have a really great feature for stock counts. If I click on this box, I can come down to stock counts, and we can see our stock count here. So I'll go new count. I'll select the location I'm going to audit inventory for, and I can add the products by location or by category. Let's just add them by location here. I can assign this to somebody, add remarks, but we're going to prepare the count. I have the option to divide this into sheets in case I want to share this across the team, but for the sake of this demo, we'll just keep it all on one sheet. When we prepare the count, we have the option to come in and we can start counting. And now I can begin entering the counted quantity. Maybe I actually only counted 112 of these products. I can see a discrepancy, and maybe I counted 15. We have reports that will report on the total cost associated with this discrepancy. And in the case of a product with the lot number, we can see what lot number. I'm supposed to have 3 bottles, and I can indicate that, oh, this is actually expired. I'm going to remove this from the shelf, and we now have 0. Same thing with serial numbers. I will be able to assign and scan what serial numbers are on this count as well. And down here we have reports. So I can click on reports and access a variety of reports, which are available to you in PDF or CSV, as well as on your screen. We are also going to show you in a later video a super simple scan in, scan out feature that we have. It's an add-on or a standalone called Stockroom. It makes it very easy for your employees to track consumables. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this demo, and feel free to reach out to our sales team or support team with any questions you might have.